All right, y'all, the show that started it all is back on the air again, 8.5 years strong, back on a Tuesday night in Texas. Showtime, Bobby Chaff right here, the Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez, that's your man on the left, and we are indeed live and large in Texas, back again for another big-time show.
Hot over here, man. Hot over here. Yeah, it 101 today in my little place over here. And from what I heard tomorrow, 106 in May. Shit. It's too much, man. It's too much.
Yeah, it's a little bit much there for being trying to find this on Twitter and I've just lost this. What the hell am I doing? That's the joy of trying to do multiple tasking stuff. Yeah, it's part of it just because it's too damn hot, dude. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's way out of control, and the whole thing is it's only going to get worse. And I think that's where I know that as we dive into the show, we'll talk about now into May with just, I mean, there's so much that's going on in May when it comes to the Indianapolis and the 600 and the Monaco, all of that stuff. But of course, there's a lot of things that are going on regionally and you know, in different parts of the country. And with the reach that we have, I mean, obviously being based in Texas, you know, there's a lot that's going to be going on here in the next couple of weeks and then kind of expanding out. So the next 2 weeks are going to be really, really, really busy. I think actually this week, and I've been out of the loop a little bit here, Bobby, so you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think this week is kind of quiet. I think it seems like, because I know we got the triple crown throwdown and all that stuff around here. But I mean, I know you got the Cars Tour and the All-Star Race and all that. But when it comes to some of the local stuff, a little quieter this weekend, I think, getting ready for next weekend.
Well, up north, the Triple Crown Throwdown and some of the other stuff, Comp Cams is running up at 67 and some other places kind of up in northeast Texas. So that area is going to be rocking and rolling this weekend. But I think the main focus, definitely, I think in the world of the short tracks, all eyes will be on the Cars Tour on Friday night on FS1. Without a shadow of a doubt, everybody's going to be watching that.
That's a really big opportunity right there for the Cars Tour. And I know that it's going to be met with, you know, what usually things are met with, because we see it all the time. But the thing about it is the way that series has grown, and they really have, because we've talked about it in the past so many different times, to where I think that they've done a really good job to pretty much keep that more centric to what the Cars Tour late model stocks have been. They haven't lit it. You know, you will have the Dale Jr. influence and all that. And you know, I mean, he and Harvick are going to be on the broadcast, and that's not surprising. That's not surprising at all. But the fact that you have, because that's about as grassroots as you're going to get when it comes to pavement. I mean, if you could get one of the UARA sportsman races on, I mean, I think that would be about as much better than you could get. But this is a big opportunity to really showcase short track racing, I think.
I think it really is. When you have the combination of North Wilkesboro, we saw what happened on Flow when they brought back North Wilkesboro with the late model stock cars. Granted, a lot of it had to do with Dale Jr. racing in the Cars Tour late model stock races, but I think that definitely Wilkesboro has proved in a short period of time that they can be a major player in racing up in that region now. Because everybody wants to be there. That's the crazy part. Everybody wants to be there. The fans want to be there. The drivers want to be there. The owners want to be there. There's nothing better than being hoisted on that old ass lift jack up on top and given a trophy with a moonshine still on it. So everybody wants that. But the biggest thing, like we talked to Jared Fryer last week, I just hope and slightly pray to the racing gods that does not turn into a glorified shit show.
Which a lot of times it does. I mean, a lot of times it does. And that's just to where, because everything is going to be so different when it comes to that. Because when you add national TV, regional TV, I mean, anything into this, everything is really expedited really quick, because you're running on a time schedule. I mean, they hand you a schedule. That was one of the main things that one of the first times that I was involved with something like that, to where it's like, we look at our race day schedules, and it's like, okay, 6 o'clock practice, 6:30 pack the track, 7 o'clock hot laps, or whatever the case is. You get the schedule at one of these races, and it's like 6:02 on track, 6:04 green flag, 6:07 exit track, 6:09 next class on. So that in and of itself to me is very intimidating. It's very intimidating, and there's going to be so the media presence is going to be massive. And I think that this kind of works out well, because I think a lot of people with the Cars Tour, obviously with the influence of the people that are now the principals in this thing, and now what Brandon Butterbean Queen has been doing, I think it's heightened a little bit to where I think they're ready for this. I think they're ready for this, and I think they'll put on a good show.
I just hope it's a good show, because what my worry is that you see it in the ARCA races to a certain extent, where you've got, I won't even just narrow it down to young drivers. You have drivers that are on TV wanting to show up and show out, and sometimes they show out a little too much and they cause a little too much carnage. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping some of these veterans that are going to be running the Cars Tour, like I think a couple of guys may have decided to kind of, you'll see some heavy hitters that don't run the Cars Tour all the time, going to end up trying to run the Cars Tour because they've been saving up their equipment and saving up their stuff to run Wilkesboro, because they want to run with the prestige and they want to run with the, the best of the best in mid-Atlantic late model stock car competition. So I'd love to see an old veteran guy just come up and just whoop their ass and put a showcase on them. I don't think that's going to happen. It's a shorter race too. It's only like 100 laps, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I like about this is that it's going to showcase the kind of car, but the thing about it, where it's going to be deceptive, and this will be up to where, and I am glad that they have the Cars Tour play-by-play guy that's actually going to get the opportunity. For an old washed up play-by-play guy like me to see that dude get an opportunity to call a race like that, even though I think he's done an ARCA race. That's
he did an ARCA race, and there was calls for him to be promoted in a hurry.
Yeah. I think that's a really great thing, because he's going to be able to, because you're going to look at those cars, and hell, they look like all the other ones. I mean, that's the thing right now to me with pavement racing that really kind of sucks right now. With dirt, you've got all the stock cars and all the different, the modifieds and all that. You look at whether it's a super late model, a pro late model, a late model stock, a limited late model, whatever the hell, the bodies are all the same. I mean, they all look alike to the naked eye, because you don't know what to look for. And I think between having their play-by-play man in there and having Junior and Harvick in there, that will be able to explain exactly what that car is. And I think that's going to be the coolest part for me, that car gets to get showcased. And I'm really looking forward to that part about that. I'm going to miss all this, because I got to go see Nikki Glazier on Thursday night. So sorry, Nikki wins out. I'll catch that replay later. But it's
Thursday or Friday, because it's on Friday.
Oh, it's on Friday. Oh shit, I'm off. Okay,
the race got moved to Friday night for Fox for FS1.
Nice. Oh, okay. I thought
now you'll miss the late model stock. I mean, you'll miss the pro late models.
Oh, that's fine. I don't. That's okay. I mean, I can watch pro late models all the time. I mean, that's okay. Yeah, the late model stocks are the ones I really want to see. I got a couple of golf tournaments Thursday and Friday that I have to be a part of. I'm not playing, but I have to be a part of those. And then I've got the Thursday night thing. 9:30 will be that show at the ACL. I don't know if I can stay up that late, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, there's the Reverend Whiskey 75 starts at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah,
so you might be able to catch it. That should be on Flow.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be down there by then. I think this is like my late birthday present. The wife gave me Nikki Glazier for my birthday, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you. I've never been gifted a woman.
You know who she is, mainly because of the Tom Brady roast, but she's pretty rowdy. She's pretty rowdy.
She's unbelievable. That is actually, I'm not a comedy guy. As a matter of fact, I think most comics suck. But I mean, a lot of people are like, you just like her because she's attractive. No, I like her because she's raunchy. That's the kind of comedy that I like. I like the old school comedy kind of stuff. So yeah, that'll be my Thursday night. But yeah, I think the late model stocks and yeah, absolutely. Because I was talking about this on the Kentucky Derby on the show tonight. I'm sorry, by the way. And we are presented by Audiovisual Consultations, and of course, On Demand Shirts. On Demand Shirts having a great On Demand Shirts night at Cotton Bowl Speedway this past Saturday night. A very busy Saturday night with multiple tracks in the same geographical area running, and that's probably something that we can touch on, because we do have a little bit of extra time, because we were set to talk to our man Logan Beardon, who had a really good run in the late models, a very much needed run, and he was set to join us. He's of course a Central Texan. Got a call from him about an hour and a half ago, and he of course is an employee of a major race team. He's like, they need me to do some stuff. Is it okay? I'm like, dude, I wouldn't have even called me. Just text. I can't do it. I got a job. I've got work to do. But yeah, so great program. So we got a little bit of time, 7:35 or so. We're going to talk to PJ Egbert, who won the Baby Blue Harcrow Memorial at Heart of Texas Speedway. So we'll still have a guest for you all. And feel free to jump in on the chat. It's wide open. That is presented also by On Demand Shirts. Give us your live thoughts if you're listening on Racing America, on RevvedSportsShow.com, all the different places on these Facebook pages that are all tied in. We'd love to hear from all you guys. I don't even know where I was going. I just knew I had to get all that in.
Schedule on Friday. If you got a ticket for Friday, it's loaded. Well worth the money for the ticket on Friday. You've got at 5:05 p.m. NASCAR Cup Series practice with the Open and the All-Stars. 6:10 NASCAR Pit Crew Challenge presented by Mechanic Wear. Your Open qualifiers. That's different this year. You get everybody's qualifying together. Whether you're qualified for the All-Star race or going in the Open, everybody's qualifying together.
Nice.
Which is good. It showcases the team. Now, when I say together, they're going to have all the Open qualified cars together, and then you have all the All-Star qualifiers qualifying together with the Pit Crew Challenge back to back. But same time frame, same kind of deal. And then that's at 7:05 for the All-Star heat qualifying, and then you have the at 8:15 Eastern time Window World 100 ZMAX Cars Tour late model stock race at 8:15 to close out that night. So that now. I don't know what all is going to be on FS1 other than we know the Cars Tour race probably go live about 8 o'clock on FS1. And then as far as whether or not I'm sure the Pit Crew Challenge and stuff is going to be on TV, even if you have to go to Prime. I'm sure it's going to be on TV. That's too big of a race to not have. So.
Yeah, you know what I actually did on Sunday, because I got home. I got an early start out of Corpus and got myself home. Obviously, Mother's Day, and belated Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, fathers that are mothers. Thank you all. I mean, obviously, we don't need to go on that too much, but hope everybody had a good day. I was able to get home and watch a race, and I actually, it's again one of those things where, as honed in as I am in to streaming, obviously, because we've been streaming before streaming was cool, is one of the things that I like to say with this program. But I didn't realize that I had Max. And I guess that's a prescription that we have, because the women in my life like to watch stuff that is on HBO Max or Cinemax Max or whatever Max that is. I don't even know what that is. But I saw that I had an account, and I rode with Kyle Larson all day. So it's
neat. I watch it on my tablet,
dude. It was great.
The in-car stuff on the tablet is on that.
Oh man! So by the time that I was done, I had the race on not the race on. I had the race space on the main TV, and then on one of these, I actually had Larson. I'm riding with Larson, listen to everything that's going on with that, and then over here, I had like 4 guys in the 4 box. I didn't know what that really was. I had looked for that before, but I was looking for it on Prime. And yeah, that was actually pretty cool. But again, I know that's more money. That's more money. You have to chase it. You have to find it. I get all that, but it's a pretty damn cool little advancement, in my opinion.
Well, when TNT does the Cup races coming up, that will be streaming on Max as well, as far as I know. The Cup races will continue to stream, and then they will also still have the driver cam. TV schedule, found it. You have a lot of that stuff's going to be in FS2, the qualifying, pit road practice, and stuff like that. The main qualifying for the All-Star, qualifying All-Star Pit Crew Challenge for the Open and the All-Star cars will be on FS1 starting at 6 Eastern. And then 7 Eastern between that time window will be on FS1. So it's going to lead in. Basically, if you park at about 6 o'clock on FS1 Eastern time, 5 o'clock our time on Friday, it'll just walk you right in all the way through to the Cars Tour race. So
not private, but a DM I just got on Twitter. So I'm assuming this is coming from the Racing America feed. It says, "Are you having a natty light?" Yes. you must be new to this program.
Mhm.
If you see me having anything but this, it is a special
It is a
occasion.
gift.
Yeah. Somebody left it here. Somebody left it here, or I found it. That's it. It's going to be one of those. Well,
That's got to be a new listener. Thanks for listening for the first time. If you just now noticed the natty lights.
yeah. Welcome to the Revved Up Sports Show. That is part of just how this show has just been that ghetto for a long time, and that's just what we do. You know. So
I think it's in my Hulk Hogan All-American beer out of the fridge.
That's what I was going to say. So that's the thing, when you'll see me doing that. If you see a beer in that guy's hands, he's drinking the more fancier stuff. He's drinking the more. Although I do know a lot of famous people that drink this, they just don't admit it. They just don't admit it.
I mean, Busch Light, proud sponsor of racing, and a premier partner of the Cup Series. So you got to support. It's not like you're supporting an off-brand. I mean, you are supporting the sponsors that support the sport.
It is funny to me to go to different places. It doesn't necessarily have to be a NASCAR race, but I see it more at the NASCAR venues, to where it's like, obviously they're going to sell you the 16-ounce, 25-ounce Busch Light, or whatever it is. And I see all these people, usually the females, that are posing for pictures. And when you get people at an event like that, and it happens at short tracks too, where if you're going to take a picture, you have to have a drink in your hand. I mean, it just makes you, I guess, cool to have a drink in your hand. You see those ladies with that Busch Light in their hand, and I'm like, you have never seen one of those in your life. And here you are, loving all over that can. The Busch Light is a pretty can, very pretty can. Blue mountains.
Just like the blue eyes that some of the girls take pictures.
There it is. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
When's the last time you saw somebody get white girl wasted on Busch Light? It's been a hot minute since I've seen somebody get wasted on Busch Light, on the female side. But usually it's a White Claw addiction or something like that.
Oh shit, wag. Oh, sorry, wrong show. Jeez, here we go. Bobby, I was at Buck Days this weekend. I saw that.
That's different. That's different.
I saw
a different
that
clientele. That's Busch Light heaven over there.
Yes, I saw that a lot. I saw that a whole lot. Saw a lot of racing people. I saw our lady Kyla Ross walked up on Friday night. I was really impressed. She's going to see Clint Black. Young lady like that. Yeah, young lady like that going to see Clint Black. It was really cool. Yeah. So, good time in Corpus Christi. Always a fun time there. All right. Since we don't have Logan and we have just a little bit of time before PJ, I'm going to go down this road and probably regret it. But so I was actually following a thread on one of the channels that we're on. You'll know which one when I bring this up. Today it was Tony Breidinger featured in the SI swimsuit thing. And it's just so funny the way that this came about, because the comments, I mean, you can, if you folks haven't seen that, you can go find that. And I'm sure it's
out there. It's on everybody's radar. It was a slow news day today.
Yes. And the reasons why and all that. But today, because one of the other streaming things, and we should be paid for as much as we advertise all these streamers. Tubi is kind of the Tubi is one that I watch during the day, because when I'm working, I'll just kind of leave the races on. And so this week is really cool because you've got all the North Wilkesboro old races are on. So I saw the 82 race and then the 83 race was on. And I saw this before this whole thing came up. Ronnie Thomas, great short track racer in his time, NASCAR. If you look at him as a NASCAR driver, you would look at his career and say, yeah, he was kind of, maybe not the success. That dude was on Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, because 1983, he had a wreck. He got knocked out. He's on TV and he says, y'all need to give me more money. I need more money. I don't have enough money to compete. So as much as now it's like the money thing, it's always been a problem. Now it's just people like Tony have ways of getting it that Ronnie Thomas didn't, or you didn't, or I didn't, or insert whoever didn't.
There's other ways to acquire funds to go racing nowadays, and Tony's not the only one. We've seen some other young ladies that were actually trying to get on this program for a real deal professional interview with some of these young ladies, but we've seen it. I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? What's the number one term in marketing? Know your audience. I mean, know your audience. I mean, you got a little top side heavy there, a little bottom side heavy over there. Show it off, get some money, go put it in a race car, go for it.
And I will say with her, I mean, the whole thing is, I mean, honestly, the whole thing is with any driver, lady, female driver, is, I mean, just go down the list. I don't think it was so bad with Janet Guthrie, and if anybody ever said this about Janet Guthrie, I think I'd kick them right in the balls, because you deserve that. Is that they can't drive, they can't race, they're going to make mistakes. You got a lot of dudes that are in spots that do the same thing. And I know that a lot of people will call that out to where it's about
not limited to one specific double chromosome there.
Exactly. I mean, but if you go back, and this is why I was thinking about this when I was watching the 1983 race, because if you really go back, and this is for some newer fans, I'm going to show a little bit of age here to just educate you on some things. I mean, like when Darrell Waltrip and Junior Johnson, like, let's just say, for example, that one. When that came about, that was where the Pepsi company was going to be the sponsor. And Pepsi was going to spend this kind of money on Junior Johnson's new team, because Cale Yarborough was going part-time. He was going to go do his thing with MC Anderson. They wanted Darrell Waltrip in the 11 car to run the Mountain Dew brand. And they would do anything that they had to do to get him in that car. Different time, because Darrell Waltrip was very accomplished. But it was the money. Darrell Waltrip had a contract he had to get bought out of with Dyguard. That was, I mean, for that day and time, just outrageous. I think it's $200,000, Bobby. Pepsi comes up with half of it. Junior Johnson comes up with half of it. They get this done. Junior Johnson gets his guy, and boom, the rest is history. So it's always been to where they pick their person. It's just that I think the criteria is a lot different, where it is frustrating. Darrell Waltrip versus Tony Breidinger. I'm not trying to insult Darrell Waltrip, but it's always been this way, where money drives it all. Money drives it all.
Well, it's always been about money. We've said that before on this show. The difference is, before, money found you, right? A lot of times, like you just said, Mountain Dew wanted Darrell Waltrip, right? They wanted him with the best team at the time was Junior Johnson. That was finding money. Darrell Waltrip needed that money to get into that car. Now the situation is a little different, where you have heavily funded drivers, generally family funded drivers. And a lot of times the family funded drivers don't seem to have the amount of success that your average grinder does, so to speak, right? And that's why they get the silver spoon remarks. That's why they end up getting the spoiled rich kid remarks. And then you throw in a couple of female drivers. We won't name them all. That have access to money because they have access to looks and other assets that some of the other male counterparts don't. So they get a bad rap for that too, because they're bringing in alternative funding. But it's always been about money. It always has been. It still is, and it always will be. These cars don't go around these circles and roads or down the straight lines for cheap. The difference is you don't see a lot of it in drag racing. I don't think you try to see the sexualization of the women and the female drivers in drag racing like you try to do with the circle track and road course stuff.
Drag racing, it's like expected. You know, it's kind of they are. I mean, they're just as dominant as the men, and that's what's always been so weird about that to me. And you could go to the argument of, well, it doesn't require as much skill, which, I mean, that's not my argument. I mean, I can't do what they do, but I mean, the women that do that in drag racing, I don't know of an unattractive one. I mean,
what Brittany Sports do, 350 something, 349, something like that.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing about it with the females now. I mean, Catherine Legg is one. Look, I'm a Catherine Legg fan, and it has nothing to do with the way she looks. She's a really accomplished competitor. And the thing about it is, if you watch the whole progression of Catherine Legg, you know, with Indianapolis and the different things she did, but then somebody figured out that they were going to have her start marketing makeup or lip balm or whatever it is that she does. She's a beauty consultant now. And it's like, as that stuff starts happening, then here she is in Xfinity and trucks and all these different things, because those people are putting money behind her. And I think it's very unfair for her. I think it's very unfair for a lot of Tony Breidinger included, to where it's like they get thrust into these spots. Danica, the same shit, whether people want to admit it or not. She wasn't ready for Cup, but all this money that they're throwing. They can't put you in Xfinity for that kind of money, So it's a double-edged sword, I think, for the ladies.
Well, I mean, I think that when you have somebody that's wanting to put a back the Brinks truck up to the front of the shop and say they want to go cup racing, you're going to go cup racing whether you're ready or not. And I think that they just get kind of the unfair rap. And I was at Rockingham when she missed the race in the Jordan Anderson third or fourth Jordan Anderson car, and that wreck that she was involved in very early, the one that took out Casey Kane, that was not her fault. She just got plumb run over. On that deal there at Rockingham. So that was a bad deal for Casey Kane too. Just wrong place, wrong time. I think he could have contended and tried to win that race if it wasn't for that collision early on. So,
and then but it's the whole thing, like with Breidinger in this situation, and good for her, by the way. And I will tell you, the fact that whether she can drive or not, the fact that she is on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit thing, and of course that's the other thing. Who reads that? Well, apparently a lot of people, because they're in an uproar that she's on it. That's good for our sport. That's eyes on our sport. The Catherine Legg thing, there at Rockingham. What I saw immediately is, well, you're going to get run over if you're 40 miles per hour off the pace. I don't think she was quite that far off the pace, but that's a really tough thing. But it always comes down to where now this sport, and even on the local level, to where it is, to where it's very much marketing driven. You do look on the at ABC Speedway, local track, whatever, 1, 2, 3 racing series, that you will also find that you may have people that are maybe not a Bubba Pollard or a Casey Roderick or a Bobby Pierce that are in really, really good situations because they have the power of the checkbook. And that's where kind of the whole thing with this was watching Ronnie Thomas go back to where I'm a good race car driver. I just need somebody to give me money. Somebody was talking about that in 1983, and they're still doing it in 2025.
Well, yeah, that is. The problem with the whole Tony Breidinger thing is that, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it without sounding really mean. It's not against her driving. It's just that the problem is that it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter whether or not you drive trucks or you drive in the Cup Series. She's a licensed NASCAR driver. The problem is that there's still so many outside fans that think of the Cup Series as NASCAR. Like NASCAR is like the Kleenex when it comes to racing, right? When the Garage 56 went to Le Mans and they ran in that Camaro, it wasn't the Cup Series car, it was the NASCAR that was running at Le Mans, right? It's the same thing. So McFarland's guilty of it too. He's running an ARCA car, but we run a NASCAR at Talladega and NASCAR at Daytona. No, buddy, you were running an ARCA car. Yes, NASCAR owns ARCA, but you were running an ARCA car. You weren't running a NASCAR. You're not a sanctioned NASCAR driver yet. Hold your horses. So I think that the NASCAR gets more of the bill for it with like the Tony Breidinger situation. The trucks don't get jack out of it. Nobody gives a shit that she's a truck racer. Everybody just knows there's a NASCAR racer, and everybody thinks if you're a NASCAR racer, you run on Sundays.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you the one that I am the most, and other people are too. But yet there are a lot of people that embrace it because I've seen it firsthand myself. That this dude actually has fans is Malcolm in the Middle. That guy. I'm like, really? You're a fan of that dude? What, from his show?
Yeah, he had cheers during the intros there at Rockingham.
I saw him at I guess hell, I don't know where it was. Coda, Texas. I don't know where it was. There were like people that were wearing his shit, and I'm like, okay, but you don't like Catherine Legg, you don't like Tony Breidinger. I get it, but people do. At the same time, he falls into that category. He's just kind of my best example to where now that's a dude to where when I think about people. That dude wasn't a race car driver. At least these other people, at least these ladies, were race car drivers. And when it comes back to the females, think about it. We talked to Shauna Robinson on this show. That girl was badass in her day. She never had the chance. Anytime that she got the chance, she was driving shit. Our lady Robin McCall here from San Antonio. That girl, if that girl would have had, I don't know, back in those days, I don't know what would it have been, Wood Brothers or Junior Johnson or one of those things. She drove those JD Stacy Buicks a couple of times, but it was always the kind of the shit car. I mean, I think she'd been exceptional. But anyway, the Tony thing is just kind of funny. I mean, say what you want to say about it. I mean, that's just racing. That's racing now. That's the way it works, unfortunately.
At the end of the day, most of the time, except in the case of Gary Ballou, nobody really cares where you get the green paper with the famous people, the dead famous people on it. As long as you have it, nobody really questions why you get it. It was that way back in the day, and it's that way now.
Yeah. If you go to Raising Cane's, which we all have, you know, great food, great chicken strips, great sauce, great all that stuff. If you go to Raising Cane's, for the most part, depending on where you are in the country, because it's one of those cool places to go. I mean, who's in there? I mean, what's that demographic? It ain't the Lubies people. It's not the Furs cafeteria folks. It's that demographic that can buy into Tony Breidinger. And
I thought you were talking about the Flavor Flav on the window down here at the one local one here.
Hell, he's NASCAR too. I mean, so you know he's a part of it too. So it's just that's just the way that they do that now. So anyway, that's a rabbit hole that was just kind of random today. But I thought about that when I saw that, to where I saw Ronnie Thomas, because that dude was a really good race car driver. And this is where we go back to, you mentioned Gary Ballou. I mean, think about it, that dude. And this really is for everybody to prove everybody else's point right, is the more you learn about racing. And I do say, if you're a newer fan, go research some of these more veteran or drivers of the past, because go back and look, you know, the Allisons and Darrell Waltrip and Neil Bonnet and a lot of these guys that were great Grand National drivers. Look how they did work through the short tracks. I mean, because that's the way typically it should work. You know, like how's it work in baseball? You kind of graduate yourself up and you get to the minor leagues, you get to AA, you get to AAA, and eventually you get to the show. That's the way it should work, but that's not the way it works, because now marketing and all this shit that we're doing and been doing for almost 9 years, this is what sells, and this is what brings people in.
And it's what people listen to now. We're having a conversation at work today talking about how people that, granted, most of them were all listening. I listened to the sports podcast at different things like that. But, you know, they were talking about listening to the different podcasts. You know, back in the day, you'd have a little mini AM FM radio and listen to the local, you know, DJ spin the hits all afternoon, you know, on Magic 95.5. Now everybody listens to it on an app, you know, either a recorded show or, you know, some people listen Sirius XM, whatever the case may be, iHeartRadio. So it's, by the way, you can find us on iHeartRadio and the recorded podcast stuff. We're on iHeartRadio, among other places, as well as iTunes, since we're down that rabbit hole.
Shit, we're with all them cool people.
I know.
We're with all them cool people on the iHeart. That's pretty cool. I like that thing you sent me that day where it says iHeart says catch Russ. That's
cool. If you listen to us, it will pop up as a suggestion to listen to us again. It says, hey, don't miss the newest episode of Russ.
And I want to tell you folks, because going through the process of getting that on there, it wasn't something to where it's like you just submit it and they're like, okay, shit. Well, they were like, they wanted all these demographics, and I had to send all this different crap in there. And I'm like, I call Bama Brown. I call my man Bama Brown, and I'm like, dude, I need some help here. He's like, you're on your own. I don't know nothing about that. So anyway, so apparently, if iHeart likes it, you know, it's a good thing. So that's not a bad scenario at all. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because something else that I was reading, this was yesterday, to where it was podcasting and streaming has killed radio. Was kind of the article that I was reading, and I'm like, no, it really hasn't, because the thing about it is, with radio, you can only get to a certain point. Podcasting, we're in the Austin area, you can listen to it. We got people that listen to this shit in Mexico. We got people that listen to this in Canada,
Japan.
You can't hear KVET in Canada. Yeah.
Well, if you have the app. But
well, yeah. But what is that? The apps and all that is a glorified podcast. It's a glorified podcast. Man, I don't know. You got me all riled up. All right, let's go to the hotline. And we had a huge event this past weekend over at Heart of Texas Speedway. Of course, the world famous Heart of Texas Speedway, as we like to talk about it all the time. And that really was a big one, where a rescheduled event out there. It was the Baby Blue Harcrow Memorial, very special event there. to a lot of people out in that area, and the IMCA stock cars showed up in force. Top of the heap after it was all done. Our man PJ Egbert. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So kind of walk us through the whole thing with the Baby Blue. It was supposed to happen, then it didn't, and then you had some extra time and more people showed up. Just kind of talk about how impactful the stock cars are there at Heart of Texas, because they show up there every time.
Yeah, they've really picked up a lot. I mean, the mods, they'd kind of died out, and then the mods took off. And then when the crates come out and the mods kind of died out, and the stock cars have really been the show here lately, the last few years, and at all the tracks, the way I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like it's gone in with the rise of the factory stocks. You've seen a rise in the stock cars. Not that they're directly correlated, but like you said, you see some of the guys move from limited mods and sport mods over to factory stocks, and you've seen some of the mod guys kind of migrate down to the stock cars, because the stock cars is, what one of the good things is that for some people in the grandstands, it resembles something that they remember driving on the street, with some of the with the metric frames and the metric bodies, and some of the newer Camaro looking stuff. So I think that helps out a little bit. But where's the wave on it right now with the stock cars? Is it on the top, about to crash? Is it right in the middle? Where's the wave at for the stock cars at the moment?
I feel like it's still at the top, and it's still got a lot of room to go. I mean, that show is probably one of the biggest shows in Texas, if not the biggest show in Texas for stock cars, which is super cool that Marcus is doing this, in tribute to his mother. And it's an annual deal, and we're grateful for it.
Nope. I think he might have froze up there just for a second. No, I think we got him back. So kind of talking about that. So let's talk about that. You obviously there with that race. It's so special to everyone there around Heart of Texas Speedway. The Egbert name yourself. You kind of mesh those two together, and that's a really big, massive event for that racetrack.
Oh yeah. Our family's been winning there for years. We're just grateful to have somewhere local, and that's literally our closest track to home. I mean, it's about 80 miles. We used to have Clean, which is Texas Thunder, that shut down and turned into a super Walmart. It was a bummer to lose that track because it was really in our backyard, but Heart of Texas is pretty much our home track.
So explain the family tree. I know that when we go and announce, especially at Cotton Bowl, or when Rodney used to announce in Waco, man, there were Egberts all over the place. Do the best you can to break down that family tree for the rest of us, so we kind of know what's going on and know who's running what in which class.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us. I mean, it's family legacy of all of us to race. My Uncle George is the 70 style.
Damn. Oh man, there it was. See, that's something we don't need to know, Bobby.
I guess not.
That's
Satan is telling us to not know the Egbert family tree.
Yeah, that's something we don't need to know right there, to where you ask him something like that and it's like, boom, we lose him. It's like, okay, that's to be kept secret. Let's see if we can bring him back on. We might be able to get him audio only. So let's try this again. PJ, we have you audio only, my man.
Okay.
Okay.
So the way our family tree works is George, he's my uncle. He's the number 70 car. Then his son, GW, my car owner. Trevor, his other son, he drives a stock car. One of Trevor's boys races the factory stock rider. GW's son, Cade, who drives a junior limited. My son used to drive a junior limited. He doesn't race anymore. And then there's me. I'm George's nephew, GW, and Trevor's cousin.
Yeah, absolutely. So PJ, I do want to ask you kind of back to the whole thing about the stock cars. What I like about the stock cars is, even though that the factory stocks are kind of the cool thing, or whatever we want to call it, the damn stock cars, that's nationwide. Factory stock is big in this part of the country, but to me, the big deal is that those stock cars, they can go run anywhere. And to me, that's a really badass thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good that you can have a race car, our class that you can race anywhere in the country, and it's good that IMCA has the the rules straight across the board. I actually drove a factory stock for the first time like a week ago, and I'm not a big fan of them.
Really? Oh wow.
Well, just because the adjustability and whatnot. I mean, they're similar to a stock car, but I mean, there's way more adjustability and drivability in a stock car, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so PJ, talk about that the fact that you can go all the way up to say the nationals in Boone and race, all over the country. I mean, is that aspirations that you guys have when the time comes, or do you guys prefer to run local, or what determines when you guys race? I know you guys run mainly at Heart of Texas and then down at Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, mostly like we like to chase the money races, to help cut costs with racing because racing's so expensive. We went to Boone last year. My cousin was in the Mopar car, and he had a really good run. Fell short of making the show, only by like a couple spots. But yeah, we like going to Super Nationals. It's just such a long drive. I think it's like 900 miles.
Damn.
But I mean, it's really fun. I mean, you don't really get an aspect for racing until you go to something like that. A week of racing. I mean, I forget what it's equivalent to a normal track. They normally tell it's like 5 or 7 years of racing in 1 week.
My goodness, that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Bobby mentioned right there, PJ, let's talk about, I mean, Cotton Bowl, obviously that's one of our tracks here in our backyard. And a lot of our friends around the country are starting to realize, I mean, with that track big, fast, very deceiving what a great racetrack that is.
Yeah, I mean, I wish more fans would get out there. I mean, maybe it's a little bit too far of a drive for them. I mean, they deserve the crowd for sure because of all the hard work they put in. But yeah, I mean, we really like racing there. My cousin likes it mostly. They brought on the junior limiteds, which ultimately the future of racing is getting the kids involved, and we look forward to supporting them as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that stole my thunder, man. That was going to be obviously with the family legacy. It's easy for you guys to get, or say easier, right, to get the bug to get into racing. What's it take for these junior limiteds and other aspects to get this next generation of racers in there? Because a lot of kids, they don't have cars, they don't know anything about cars. Hell, they can't drive a standard transmission. What's that key? Is it kind of go-karts into junior limiteds? What's the path that you think would get the most next generation of kids involved, in your opinion, PJ?
The biggest deal is just getting out to the races
Mm-hmm.
and getting an aspect of be in the pits and see what it takes, as far as the work ethic that the teams put in to make sure their car makes it in time, and the adjustments they're making and stuff like that. They do for the junior limiteds. They're all automatics, so the kids don't have to know how to drive a standard for the so that it's easier for them. But if there's any kids or parents that want to get their kids involved, I mean, feel free to come see me or my cousin at the races. We'll help as much as we can.
Isn't a great thing, PJ, a couple of years back when this was really taking off, when Joe and all of you guys teaching them what the flags mean, how to start a race, all that. That's so important because a lot of kids these days, they just get thrown into a damn car, to go out there and race.
Oh yeah, and then it was awesome that Joe Spillman and Selby Holder were doing that. I mean, it's good that the kids learn early,
Mm-hmm.
as far as what the flags mean and stuff like that. I wish they did it more at other tracks as far as that kind of stuff, and more safety.
Yeah.
I feel like safety is not pushed enough, and that's in all classes.
Yeah. I think a lot of times some of the older dudes need to have that class, if you know what I mean. But that's my thought.
Yeah, some of them need some driving lessons.
Love it.
So, PJ, in terms of the overall aspect of racing, right? Rodney and I come from a racing background. Obviously, you're from a racing background. We talked about getting the kids involved. What's it take to get these fans involved, right? How do we get the next generation of fans to come to these races? Obviously, there's a little bit of surge with COVID, but we're 5 years removed from COVID. Some of those people stayed, some of those people left. What's the next key? Is it just advertising? Is it social media? Is there some kind of magic formula none of us thought about yet? What's the key to get? You said the grandstands to Cotton Bowl need some help. What's the key to get them in there?
I think it's all those aspects. The advertising, the social media, the word of mouth. A lot of times, like in the DFW area, when we race Kennedale, they'll do like car loads. Like $5 a car or whatever. And everybody in the car gets in for that amount versus, it costing a bunch, and just getting the people involved. And, I feel like once they go once or twice, I think they'll be hooked just like the rest of us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I love that point right there. So lastly, PJ, we kind of went down the family tree. How many more Egberts do we have in the chute right now that are going to be at some point on the track?
So my oldest son kind of quit racing, because he's at the age, he's a teenager. He's more into the girls and going to the gym. Mm-hmm. My middle son, he's 7, going to be 8 this year.
Lost him for a second there.
It's the family tree. Every time we ask about the tree, the phone dies.
I tell you what. There we go. We got you, PJ. I tell you what, I think that's what it is, dude. It's like every time that the family question comes up, let's try to pull him back out. There we are, and we'll pull him back in again. PJ, we got you, man. Damn. What is it with the question right there, man? I think, is it like a need to know basis? We don't need to know. I think that's
not like a mob family. I mean, they're good guys.
Kind of what it's all about. I mean, he's still there. I don't know what happened here. So this is what we do on the fly. We produce this bad boy on the fly. So yeah, all that's there. And damn it. Well, I guess we'll have to get that later. Rats.
Every time. Family tree every time.
Really wanted to know that. We'll try it one more time, see if we got him on the sound. PJ, we got you, man. Nope. Well, that's okay. We will get that answered. We will get that answered. I promise we will get that answer, because I want to know that, because that was one of the things where, like, when I would announce in Waco, to where it's like, here's another Egbert. And I would say that. I'm like, here comes another Egbert. And it was when you talk about those families, man, that is just, there's been, I remember, and this is how far back, this goes for me, because obviously, with Colleen, with Stars and Stripes, which later became Texas Thunder, I remember you had the Egberts there, but I remember it at Austin. I mean, George Egbert, and I would assume that was George Egbert Sr., raced in a late model. He was racing against Slick, Keith Riethmeyer, David Trooper, all those guys on pavement. It's like that. They go back that far. Jeez, that is crazy. To the pavement days, for crying out loud.
Old school. You are showing your age tonight, by the way. That's like the third old school reference you made today.
I know, man. I don't know what it is. I think I'm feeling my old sentimental side right here. It was watching that stuff today with that Ronnie Sanders and all that, or Ronnie Thomas and all that stuff that I was talking about earlier. That's what it was, because I started watching that, and it's like, man, I kind of reflected back to my childhood, back when that stuff used to be on ESPN. Did you watch it? Did you get to see race? Yeah, you would have been like 92. Yeah, you would have seen races on ESPN.
I mean, I started at late 80s.
And I say that because you're younger. I mean, you're younger than me. I don't mean whatever.
Yeah, I started watching in the late 80s. I mean, we didn't get, I mean, that's when everybody started getting cable, was the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, that's when the boom hit. Yeah. When you heard Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, and Ned Jarrett all day long. So
yeah. Benny Parsons was on that broadcast today. It was I don't remember who all that was. Larry Newber was in the pits. I'm gonna try this one more time to see if we got PJ. PJ, you there, my man? Still want the answer to that question. Damn it. All right. In the words of from Good Times, the mom from Florida, the mom. Damn. I wanted to hear the answer to that.
But that's why we're live. Now, some places would edit that shit out. We don't, because that's what happens when you go live. So
yeah, you get the full thing. You get the full thing. Get the full Monty right there. But we'll get the answer to that and have it for you next Tuesday when we do this again. So this weekend coming up, a couple of really cool events that I'm looking forward to is you have Pensacola's doing it. Pensacola, who is it? It's Pensacola, Mobile,
Montgomery, right?
Yeah, the cruise thing, to where they're going to do the for the sportsmen 3 races, and whoever wins that gets to go on a cruise. I mean, now that's how you try to get people to the racetrack.
Now that's how you get mama to get her old man motivated to get his ass to the racetrack.
Yeah. And but I got to tell you, so before we came on, I was watching, and this was so I'm watching this, and they were doing the In the Groove on Racing America. It was on right before we were. And they were talking about this big thing, and the sportsman driver that they roll out is Jonathan Langham, and I'm like, now, to me, that just, when I think of a cruise, Jonathan Langham is the first guy I think about.
A friend of the show, by the way, been on the show multiple times.
It's like when I think of a fancy boat, and I think of dudes out there, sitting on the whatever that thing is called. I've never been on a cruise. I get seasick. It's like that. One of the first 3 people I think of is Jonathan Langham. God. But I mean, when you want to talk about people that might win that, he's probably the favorite.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to get him in the racetrack. I saw the thing about the where Augie Grill is doing the thing with the double there with Montgomery and Pensacola. That's cool with the bonus money for the best average. If you can win both, it's 1,000. You got the best average finish, you win 500. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, here we go. And I got it via Facebook Messenger, and that's the whole thing right here. This is where technology is so good. PJ says, my middle son Preston, who is 7, is in the go-karts. I've got a 21-month-old Peyton, who I'm sure we'll see both of them on the racetrack very soon. So there's at least 2 more, and that's
2 more in the pipeline.
And that's just from PJ and Brittany. So there you go, right there. The family tree will continue. The Egbert oak tree, or whatever that you would look for to find that for racing in this area, it just has lots of limbs. It has lots of limbs, Bobby.
Well, I mean, most racing trees do. I mean, they're anchored. Every area has their anchor family.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you got in Central Texas, like in mid-Syntex, Waco, Killeen, Salado, right, all in there. You've got the Egberts, down in Corpus and all that. You've got the Whitakers and the Micklenchecks down there. Austin, what do you got? The Wallaces, the Umshides.
Yeah.
That kind of group there. And then in DFW, there's so many. Just you can't even begin to name all the legacy racers and families up in the DFW area.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. PJ, thank you for joining us. We'll do it again. We will obviously do that again, and see, it's what it's all about. Let's keep dirt track racing alive in Central Texas. That's what it's all about. I mean, because that's kind of the home base for us, and that's why we've done this, to not only to lit our folks, because we hear from a lot of people that are like, we didn't know that the factory stock thing is the one thing that I get so often, to where it's like people will reach out to me and they're like, can you tell me what a factory stock is? I don't really understand. And that's why a lot of times we try to push them over to Race On, to where it's like, with the big one that's coming up. I mean, this is going to be a huge event that's going to be coming up, rescheduled. I think I have a graphic right there. Boom, there it is. $30,000 to win. It's coming up. When we were talking about the next 2 weeks, Bobby, that are going to be even really big, this is another one of those rescheduled races where I think that's only going to bring more people in. Like we were talking about the Baby Blue. I mean, this thing here is going to be outrageous. And I think we'll really need to dive into this and break this one down, maybe even do like everybody else and run a poll of who's going to win. And, because I think this thing, you make the show and that's a win for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was talking to Dalton Faulkner about it on Saturday down at Texana, and he's looking forward to it. Obviously, one of the perennial heavy hitters to try to get a W down there, or up there, I guess, technically in Boot Hill from where we are. So it's going to be, it's funny. Like even when we were doing the World Outlaw show with the factory stocks on Friday night, when you mentioned to regular dirt fans. Granted, there, your World Outlaw people there. You got the racing fans that are there, then you got your sprint car fans that are there, and then you got your hardcore World of Outlaw fans.
Yep.
Right, and they all love racing, all three of them, but a little slightly different, right? But when I mentioned that these cars are running 10-inch asphalt pull-offs on an 8-inch wheel, these people were losing their minds. Like when I walked out of the tower, I had people tell me those cars were just on slicks, like super. I was like, yeah, super late model asphalt pull-offs, slicks. They're like, no way. With the races that they put on and the races they have and the competition so close, I mean, it's a unique beast. But like you said, I think that's where the appeal of the stock car is, because granted, there's not a lot of races that pay $30,000 to win in a stock car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget our friends over at Marshalltown are doing Castrol Night in America too.
Well, and with this, I mean, because you have this that you're going to have, and I think that's kind of to what like PJ's talking about, because him being a stock car guy, I think if I drove an IMCA stock car for a fair amount of time and I dove into a factory stock, I think that I would have the same opinion that he had to where it's like the adjustability. And I mean, that was when I went to a dwarf car from a stock car. Obviously the car was way different, but the one thing about it that I was just so intrigued and I think it made me a better driver in that car was we could go in there, and if there was something I didn't like, I could change one corner of the car, because you could change everything like we talk about with the stock cars, to where you can go in there and change all that. And it made me a much better driver. It was like, oh, you're a better driver in that car. Well, I'm a better driver in that car because I can go in there and adjust it the way I want it, to where with the other car, it's just kind of there and you got to work with it. But to the factory stock, so you've got this, what we're showing you right here, the huge event at Boot Hill rescheduled. But then the week before, you've got the Triple Crown Throwdown. And again, you can see all this, our friends over at Race On, to where you've got on the 23rd, 1,500 to win at Sabine, the 24th, 1,500 to win at Boot Hill the weekend before, and then Arklatex, 1,500 to win there. And they got a point fund in there to where, series point fund, first $1,000, $400, $300, $200, $100. People are going to say, well, that's not a lot of money. You don't get point fund regularity for 3 races around here. So that's a damn big 2 weeks that are coming up for these folks.
It really is. I mean, just the fact that, they're the King of the Hill, what, space 20 or 25 to win?
I think so.
They're at Boot Hill. Now you got a $30,000 to win. I mean, there'll be guys coming from building. There's guys that we've heard that are on a national level type driver that are building factory stocks, brand new high dollar factory stocks, to come in and win this $30,000.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they range everywhere from USMTS guys, late model guys, Lucas Oil guys. Some of them are rumored to be coming. You never know who's going to show up till they actually get to the gate there on race day. But there's some heavy hitters. They're supposed to be building factory stock specific cars just for this upcoming race. And the race is that pay a lot of money. Texana announced with our buddy KR, they're going to end up having a $5,000 to win factory stock race down there. That's good money for factory stocks down in South Texas.
And I'll tell you that's really the thing about it with the factory stocks is that you always have these races. I mean, just random weekends, random whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it's not, I mean, obviously with the Triple Crown and with what we're talking about there, Boot Hill the week after, to where those are marquee events. But you find, I mean, I think tracks that are paying $1,000 to win on a regular basis, like Texana is, tracks that are doing special events like that to pay that kind of money. I mean, that's what this class does. And that's, I mean, I really look at this past weekend here in South Texas, for example. I think that your car count there with the factory stocks was healthy. Marianne had a healthy car count. The Race Ranch had a healthy car count with factory stocks. And that's like all, I mean, again, this is Texas, so we're kind of talking differently here. That's a 400, 300 mile radius right there, where you had 3 tracks running simultaneously, and they all had a healthy car count in that class. And that tells you just how inundated we are with the I-37 this week. They're going to blow it out of the water because nobody else is in the region is doing that. Because to me, that's kind of the 4 tracks. And when I say there wasn't a lot going on this weekend, you got a super late model show that's coming up at Texarkana and the Revved back to back. I mean, now that I would go to if I didn't live on the road all the time and actually have a weekend home.
Oh, you get the weekend off this weekend? Oh, good.
I'm home. I'm home. I am home. I'm home for the All-Star race.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Why? What's going on?
No, nothing. Just
Oh,
weird to see you at home. That's all.
oh, I thought you had a couple of girls lined up or something. Double date or something. I was getting excited.
Well, hell, I already know you're out on Thursday, so I have to plan something. Got to plan something around the late model stock car race on Friday night.
Yeah, no, that so the super late model is $5,000 to win each night there. So that's really cool there. But yeah, with the factory stocks, that's I mean, that's 2 big weekends that are going to be going back to back, and man, it just tells you how that thing has blown up. Speaking of blowing up, obviously our show presented by On Demand Shirts. On Demand Shirts has blown up into one of the coolest things that you're going to find. It's really cool. I saw James Cole on the preview show at Cotton Bowl Speedway talking to our man Milton. God damn, James, he talked to Milton before he talked to us.
I know. Golly.
We have to do some renegotiating, right? That honestly, Bobby, I would talk to Milton before I talk to us. That dude's a high roller, the Alamo Dome guy, for crying out loud. Hell, now he does the Brahmas.
Yeah, they have another Friday night game coming up this weekend too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, James Cole, On Demand Shirts, great folks right there, the official providers of Revved Up. I mean, we've got the cap, we've got the shirts. We got all of that stuff. We'll post a link. I think there's a link somewhere to our in this description of the online store there where you can get some of that stuff.
Now he's working on my merch for my new line of clothing.
That's what I was going to say. You've got the Dirty Air stuff. You're going to have Bobby stuff. I mean, all of that is there. If you run into Bobby or I at a racetrack, you're going to run into Bobby before you run into me probably. Ask us, because I know I carry a duffel with some stuff. I know Bobby does as well. So ask, and you can get the 5-finger discount there, because they're probably going to hand it to you and just let you have it. But On Demand Shirts is really launching and doing some really cool things. And one of those things is the STEM series. Big race this past weekend at Cotton Bowl Speedway. It's Chris Morris over Chris Gallion, Chase Dowdy, Jared Maupin, and Cameron Starry. So again, you saw it firsthand yourself a couple of weeks back. The STEM series, you want to talk about blossoming? That On Demand Shirts presence is really factoring in right there. They're paying a really good purse. They're paying a really good points fund. And it has resurged, I think, the IMCA modifieds here in South Texas.
It definitely puts a unique spin on it for sure. I wish there were more than 10 races, but they're open to working with each other, because they had to change the Sunday race, the Saturday night race rather, at the race ranch to the Sunday afternoon show, part of the doubleheader that Owen and them are doing down at the race ranch on Memorial Day weekend. They because there's an all-star tour racing across North Texas and South Mid Texas. I think it ends up running in Waco on Saturday. So they ended up moving that race from Saturday night to Sunday. So they're not oblivious to how everything works with some of the IMCA guys. I think that's going to do nothing but get more cars down in Corpus the next Stims race.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. And if you get the opportunity, so when is the Stims race at Corpus?
The 25th, whatever the Sunday of Labor Day is. Yeah.
Perfect. So if you get a chance, because I know I did last year. I was there for both days of that. And that was really a great weekend to go. Actually, last year, we Tracy and I made a weekend out of it. We actually went down. We stayed on the island, kind of did some cool stuff. Of course, everything started later, so it was a matter of Indianapolis was kind of jacked up, because remember, the weather was a factor.
Raining,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. So that is really a cool thing, because you can go down there, really enjoy that time away. We took the dogs, we did the whole thing with the condo, and then we had racing on both nights there at the race ranch. And the thing is that's really when you feel that Corpus thing, because that's the 2 nights of action right there. And now you add Stims. I think that's man, that I wish now that weekend I'm not in town. I get back on Sunday, but man, if I could get down there, but that's a long way. I got to be in Fort Worth. I couldn't get to Fort Worth to Corpus. I mean, I guess I could, but I just can't do that to myself. But that's a good weekend to go down there and enjoy that 2-day show, because it's always a great time at the race ranch.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Let me see here. Sunday, the 26th. No, Sunday the 25th is the next Stims race down at the race ranch. So
yeah, that'll be a good show. But yeah, Chris Morris with the win right there. I did post this on Facebook, to where I really would have liked to have seen right there towards the end of the with some of the cautions that happened. I think they ended up having to knock 5 laps off of there. I heard HE. we're 15 laps. I kind of heard that in the background there when I watch that. But I would have liked to have seen Jared Maupin in the second spot. I think that he and the handyman there would have had some kind of race to finish this thing out, because Maupin was driving through there pretty good. But again, I mean, Chris Morris, that's 2 in a row for him. He won at your place, didn't he?
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Defending series champion as well.
Boom. There it is. He is doing it to it. Let's see. What else do we have? We talked about all those races. Yeah, we talked about North Wilkesboro. I did want to play you a little bit of sound. I'm sure you've heard this, but this is very funny to me. You know, with when it comes to Earnhardt, ECR and all that, did you hear our man AJ Allmendinger?
He was not very pleased.
Yes, this was him as his motor expired. Well, that's got to be a great shot. That's got to be a great little confidence booster right there when your driver says
they're on the same campus.
Yeah, well, he ain't lying.
And he's disappointed. He went from being in the top 16 in points. I think he's 25th now, after a couple of really bad races and a blown motor. Like, he dropped 10 points in the standings. I wouldn't be happy either.
Yeah, I don't blame him, and they do. I mean, it's like they're so good on Saturday. It's like I mean, any chance to channel some of that energy into. I mean, I know Ace has got some top 10s that he was kind of riding. I don't know if he was top 10 this week, but I know he was riding like a 3-race top 10 thing there, right there. But it's like, man, you're so great on Saturday. I mean, what? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, Saturday is great. I mean, the Xfinity Series is great, but I mean, Sunday's kind of when it counts, I think. But I don't know. I mean, if Saturday's good, whatever the case. But
have you heard the highlights of the Actions Detrimental podcast with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin cutting it up?
I have not. I have not gotten to that.
It's almost as good as the Harvick and Junior one.
Oh, nice. Okay, and that I'm glad you mentioned that, because those are the two guys, Allmendinger and Kyle Busch, were the two guys I wanted to ask you about here as we get ready to wrap this thing up. Is so Kyle Busch, to me, I mean, obviously talking about the car, I mean, not happy with his performance. I mean, and it does suck to see. It's one thing when you have these drivers. We talked about Darrell Waltrip, you know, as Darrell Waltrip kind of started to fall off or whatever, you know, you kind of expected that. To me, Kyle Busch is not. His performance does not really, to me, equate to his ability. I don't think Kyle Busch has lost ability. He is just in a spot that's not, here it is, conducive to what he's doing right now. How long before he just says, that's a middle finger thing. How long before he says that to Cup Racing and goes and races dirt, goes and races late models? I think he's getting really close, dude. I don't
know. I think he's still trying to leave the door open for him and Brexton to race together. He's always said he wanted him and Brexton to race together in the Cup Series. I don't think he's got that long of a shelf life. But I could definitely see them racing some truck races together here in a couple of more years.
Yeah, possibly. But this is where I'd like to see him land in a spot where I don't know where he could land.
He landed in the only available spot he could land in.
That was the whole thing, you know, and this is where I was really going to, before the sponsorship for Denny Hamlin came about with who do you pick up? Progressive. Before that came up, I was really starting to think that there was some sort of conspiracy or some sort of whatever happening there with Coach Gibbs, to where he's got this anchor driver that's going to be, you know, just like Kyle Busch was for him, but you can't find a sponsor. And that's what we were starting to hear with Denny, to where it's like, Denny's all this, whatever. He hasn't won a championship, but he's done every damn thing else. Going to be a Hall of Famer, but we can't find him a sponsor. And I really thought I was about to cry foul, and then Progressive came along. And I'm like, okay, I can't hit that take.
Well, technically, they didn't find him a sponsor to start the season. Progressive was not on that car the first couple of races.
I know. And that's where I go back to it. I don't know, man. I'd love to see Kyle Busch in a, I don't know, something 2311. I mean, a track house, something to where he could compete, somewhere other than a super speedway. because
Well,
that's
not the track house is on top of the world right now.
well, that's true too. That's true too. And I will tell you one other thing. After seeing it firsthand myself at Coda and firsthand even more, Bobby, at TMS, you better hold on to Daniel Suarez, because that dude right there is doing a lot. I mean, the Mexican Heritage crowd, mi gente, TMS, dude, 5,000 times more than Coda. I was so surprised. Even the guy that I was working with, he was like, is this a really heavy Hispanic crowd? I'm like, dude, yes, which is weird. So
Comparatively, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, one of the reasons the stands were so full over there. But yeah, Kyle Busch, man, I'd love to see him in a good spot, because he's just kind of wasting time at this point, because that equipment ain't getting no better. Ain't getting no better.
It ain't getting no
He's
better.
getting more pissed off by the day, it seems like to me.
Well, and you get pissed off, you start losing your drive. Start losing your drive, start losing your edge. And once you lose the edge, if you're Kyle Busch, that's it. That's what's kept him. Yeah, it's this. He mentioned it in the podcast with Denny Hamlin. He says it's this car. He says, the best drivers in the world, all they do is just run into each other and beat the hell out of each other. He says these guys just run in and hit the wall, expect the body to pop right back out. And so, put them in a Gen 4 car where you get to steal bodies and you just touch somebody and your day is done. You're screwed. When you knock the fender in, your arrow's done, knock the fender in, cut a tire. Like this new body has made some of these guys a little bit braver, but yeah, it's definitely, this car has changed a lot. Some for the better, a lot for the worse, but we'll see. I still think that I don't know exactly what they're going to do next. I mean, I just don't see them increasing the horsepower, because it's not going to do any good, because you're not going to, the last thing that we heard in Charlotte was that they're going to allow new engine combinations and do balance the performance like they do in IMSA. I don't see how that's going to work with the twin turbo V6 racing against a fully fuel injected aspirated V8. But NASCAR's not stupid. They'll get it figured out. They're going to piss everybody off by trying to expand and trying to do better. But
well, I mean, I have to tell you, one of the things to me, and again, having had race cars and whatever over the years, I mean, I don't want to see stuff get tore up. I mean, I've said it for a long time. If cars are going to get tore up, I'd rather see it happen to the Cup guys, because they have a lot of money and they have plenty of cars, rather than a short track guy, because you've got to do that yourself out of your own pocket. But the fact that these cars go for these crazy rides and wreck and bounce off the safer, I know it's a safer barrier or whatever, but the fact that all that happens and it just keeps on going, I mean, it's very video game-ish to me, where it's like,
until you've been to toe link, then you're screwed. But
yeah, and that's a weird thing to me with this car, is that it can take a pounding, and then you got that you've got that one little weak link, which I guess it's kind of the equalizer with the whole thing. But still, even with that, a lot of times you see these cars that have these massive wrecks, and the like you said, the body's not even hurt. It may be scraped up a little bit, but the old ass end is cocked in because you broke that little weak ass toe link. So it's very video game-ish to me, and I get that. I mean, I totally get that to where that's what you're doing now. But the other thing that I took out of this weekend was kind of going into and listening to Sirius XM Channel 90 and all the different stuff, talking about going to Kansas, and how a lot of people thinking that Kansas is the mile and a half that, and it has, it's produced best racing. I'm sorry, the Texas race was better than what we
Kansas stunk the show up on Sunday.
Horrible, wasn't it? And that's where it's like NASCAR not intentional. I mean, it's not intentional, but it's like as many times as we've talked about throughout the years, to where it's like NASCAR can't get out of its own way, to where it's like, okay, you have a race at TMS that, I would say 60% of the people thought was good for that place. And then boom, here we go. We are going to a home run. We are about to jack this sumbitch out of the park. You go there and it sucked.
It was, and it not just because it was a Kyle Larson benefit race, but I mean, the racing throughout the field was just shitty. It just wasn't very entertaining. Either that or Texas was just that much better, and you go back to back. And because Texas was so much better than intended, that it made the racing in Kansas even worse.
And I do think that Texas is coming into its own. I mean, I think that I heard him talking. I've heard treacherous. I've heard it compared maybe a little bit to Darlington, to where you have to race the track and all that. And that's great. Just leave it alone. Let it weather itself in. And then maybe it gets back to where it needs to be. And I don't think I've heard a lot of, folks talking about going in there and reconfiguring and doing all these different things. I don't think that TMS and just kind of the financial status of it, not that it's in any sort of financial problem, but I don't think that anybody wants to spend billions of millions of billions of dollars to go in there and reconfigure that thing right now. I think we'll just leave it like it is. I think it's kind of the whole
After
mindset.
the last two races there's no reason to touch it.
Absolutely no reason. And kind of the other part of that is going to Wilkesboro. I think that we need to prepare ourselves with the All-Star race. I don't know about the trucks. I don't know about the late model stocks. I don't know about the pro late models. Like we talked about, that could turn into a regular short track race. But having these aspirations that we're going to see this amazing short track race, you might end up with like what you had at the Clash. You might end up with what you had at the Clash.
That's what you're going to have. The short track package is garbage on this next gen car.
This car's not made to race like that. I mean, it's just not made to race like that. So, but the car's not going away. I'm sorry, the car's not going away.
It's not going anywhere. They may end up changing the body a little bit, but they're not. That core chassis is not going anywhere.
No. Isn't it weird that after all these years, we're sitting here talking about that the good races are some of the ones on the 1.5 miles? It's crazy stuff, man.
The two best races of the year were both in Texas, COTA and TMS.
I agree. High limits last night. Rico with another win.
Did you see that finish? Did you see that finish? Stole that one. And in the words of our friend Zach Clark, picked his pocket.
Yeah, man. Big time win right there for Rico, as he's got himself a little something going right there. I don't mean to use little. I mean, I just mean he's got a little bit of a roll going on right here as he wins that one right there. Oxford Plains is on Racing America tonight, so you actually had that. I don't think it's really affecting our viewership because we seem to have a lot of people on. That's why we continue to roll on right here. And like Bobby said, really cool weekend coming up for, I think, short track racing with that Cars Tour, especially on Friday, that you're going to get to see some of those guys. You get to see one of our play-by-play guys that gets out there and gets to showcase one of the coolest series, in my opinion, the coolest series. No offense to our friends at Southern Super Series, whatever, UARA late model stocks, or where it's at with the Cars Tour, and the nation's about to get to see that. So tune in and check it and support it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see a diamond in the rough going to be shining, hopefully in the most positive way possible.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Great program right here. Kind of fell apart on us a little bit right there, but hey, the miracle of social media, we still got to finish the interview with PJ. We just did it on the chat. So there you go. Lots of ways to check in right here.
Yeah, lots of ways to get the content nowadays. Anyway,
that's right. So what are you going to do this weekend? You don't have a race to go to.
I don't have no idea. Like, I'm off. Like, I don't know. Like, I have back-to-back weekends off. I'm probably going to go to Cotton Bowl on Memorial Day weekend.
I wish I could go to that.
If I don't go down to the beach to the race ranch.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, I have no idea what to do this weekend. It's so weird to be off on a weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna hang around the house. Luckily, the chores and all that for the most part have been done. We had a great weekend. The in-laws were in over the weekend, so we got to spend time with them. One of the reasons I wanted to get back on Sunday, just to spend some time with them. So got to do that. Gonna hang out.
The Austin race starts super late on Sunday. It didn't start till like 8:00 Eastern.
It's late. Yeah. So that's a good thing. I don't know why, to me, it feels like it's Memorial Day weekend when it's really not. I don't know why I kind of have that feeling.
Nah, not really. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Speaking of Memorial Day weekend, enjoy the day on Sunday. We'll talk about it more next week. But when we talk about the greatest day in racing, which you start out with Monaco, then you got the 500 and then into the 600. This is the last year Monaco is going to be a Memorial Day weekend for like 4 or 5 years.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird to have Monaco the week after.
Yeah. So what's in place? What's in its place?
Nothing. They just moved
nothing. It. Oh wow. No, well, sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's going to be weird. Of course, then you don't have, when Fox not carrying the 600. You're going to have the 600. The 600 is going to be on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
The people piss and moan about that.
Well, and speaking of that, and again, it's something we can get into next week when it comes to the 500. That is what I definitely will do this weekend. I did see that I have it somewhere here. I think I have it over here. Hold on, that's the wrong one. This is the one. I did see that they finally got on the track today. Will Power was the fastest on the track today, and he was 227. 227 was his speed. It rained a lot over there, so they'll have that coming up over the weekend. Apparently, the highlight of the day was our man Pato O'Ward trying to make sure his helmets got delivered. So that tells you what the rain delay did. Kyle Larson only went 221 today.
Yeah, and that's he's going to be a contender.
Yeah, 45.
He did openly say though, if he makes the Firestone Fast 6, that he won't come back. He said he'd rather race for $1 million and start 6th than try to miss the $1 million race.
Yeah. That's going to be fun to watch. I hope that Mother Nature cooperates, because I know we've had a lot of really good drivers that have attempted that, but I think that, I mean, think about this at his age. I mean, if this dude could go out, I mean, I know it's very far-fetched to say that he could win the 500 and the 600, but this dude could win the 500 and the 600. He is that good.
He could definitely run well in the 500 and still contend to win in the 600.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. So hopefully that weather does hold out and we get to see that.
He is the defending Brickyard 400 winner.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that will be on the
smoked their ass at that race too.
Yeah, he did. That'll be on the to watch list for me, is going to be watching qualifying for the Indy 500. I know this year there's 34 cars, but hey, that's all right. It's still cool. That whole format, it's just cool. I mean, when they start bumping and doing all these different things, bump day and all that, I mean, it's
the
still
battle for the last 3 spots now. So
oh man, you know, it's still so intriguing to watch it, and that will be this weekend. All right, great program. Thank you to PJ Egbert for checking in and having that conversation. If you tuned in for Logan Beardon, we will get him, like we said, duty calls, so he had to go to work and do some different things at his job with a NASCAR team. So we will totally forgive him for that. And always we will get him back on. You guys have a great race weekend. If you're going to be up in the northern parts of Texas into Louisiana and the different places, check out.
Weather should not be a factor. It's just going to be hot.
Oh man, that's where, for all of the folks that have been complaining about the rain, you're going to be wishing that you could get a renegade shower, because I think those days have passed for a while. Although I did see that you're going to have in the next couple of weeks, we'll get a little bit more of that, but it ain't going to be this weekend. Memorial Day, that weekend, that we're going to have something that always happens.
Yeah, something somewhere.
Yeah, not this weekend. All right, you guys, be sure and follow on the socials. Bobby is at Bobby Chaffee. I'm at the Rodney R. Be sure and check in with us there. We'd love your comments. Check out the Revved Up Facebook page. Check out the Revved Up X page. Of course, Racing America. We know we're not on Race On, but you can kind of funnel everything in together right there and have some great conversations there. We'd love to hear from all of you. Final thoughts, Bobby, as we'd put a bookmark here on the end of another Tuesday program.
Well, I think there's some good stuff happening. Obviously, the fact that you can watch racing every single day of the week now is a good thing. But this weekend is going to set up for big things coming up for Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, it's one of our favorite races of the year. Race weekends, race days, whatever you want to call it, with Monaco, the 600, the 500 and 600. So we got a couple of weeks to get ready for that. All-Star race, I'm keeping an open mind. I don't know how much it's going to do to keep an open mind about it, but I'm trying. I think the race is. I think the race that's going to steal the show is the truck race.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't rain and they get qualifying in, you get your fast guys up front. I think you're going to get a chance to have a show stealer rather there with the truck race. Hopefully, the late model stock cars. There's going to be a lot of excitement for that. I have a feeling there's going to be too many people trying to show out, turn into a wreck fest and a shit show. And then, like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind for the All-Star race, but that's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. This damn car. But anyway, well, we'll recap it next Tuesday, 7:00 Central, 8:00 Eastern. Check in. It is the Revved Up Sports Show. We do it live each and every Tuesday at those times. We look forward to seeing you then. We'll get your comments and do it all one more time and preview a huge weekend that is to come. Bobby's down south. I am up north in Texas. We'll see you guys next Tuesday on the Revved Up Sports Show.